Alright, here's the review for Diaclone Diabattles V2, their updated version of the old Diabattles figure from the Diaclone line. And you might remember Diaclone was the line that basically is where we got a lot of our those first few Transformers from. I don't know if we'd call it a spin out, but a lot of the molds from the Diaclone line got reused in Transformers to become characters that we're much more familiar with than a lot of the Diabattles things. Not all of us, some of us. Like I mean, I admit I don't know. I'm not a wealth of knowledge on the Diaclone line. I'm sure there are people out there who are very much so. But yeah, so these are little guys. You get all the little pilots. You can see there's a little black and red one in here. There's a solid red and solid black one in here. And I'll go ahead and take out the red and black one from this guy. And you can see they're very tiny. Just to give you an idea of how big this guy is, I'm going to put him down here. See if I can get him to stand, because he's quite wee. Stand up, dude. There we go. So, here he is with G1 Spike and one of the Fans Project Diaclone pilots. So you can see they're very, very tiny. Those off to the side here. But despite that, they're surprisingly posable. They've got outward movement at the shoulders, forward and back movement at the shoulders. They've got hinged elbows. And then same at the knee. They've got a little ball joint at the hip. Allows it to move all around. And then a knee joint. So, fairly posable. And I'd be a little careful with them. Don't use excessive force. But they move freely enough that you shouldn't have to. But you do want to be careful. There's some tiny, tiny ball joints, especially there in the hips. Oh, they've even got an ab crunch. Holy crap! I didn't even realize the ab crunch before. But yeah, so there's even an ab crunch on these guys. Cool. But yeah, so you get the red and black, and then basically this guy's the reverse of him. They got little human faces versus the robotic faces the old ones had. And then you get like a solid red and a solid black version, which I have over in this guy. They also comes with a little bike, a little motorbike, and you can, in fact, pose him on the bike. Have him ride it. Alright, so my posing abilities on this little guy aren't that great right now. You can get him in more of a natural bike riding pose with the hips and the knees. But yeah, so you can ride the little motorbike that came with it. And the motorbike, you crush the wheel in, not crush it, but push the wheel in. And you can have him ride the bike like this if you prefer. But the bike, actually, if you open up this panel here, it tabs on inside here, and then can store inside Battles 3. They also have, just like the originals, little tiny magnets in the bottom of their feet. And if you saw the two little like kind of hazard stickers that were in here, you get a pack of 4 stickers. One goes right here behind the cockpit on this guy. 2 go in here, and then 1 goes right there. You get 4 of these little square stickers. Those are magnetic stickers, so you can attach the pilot and have them stand on the robot. Because they're such tiny magnets, they're not super strong magnets. They'll hold them for basic posing, keep them from knocking over. If you turn them really slowly, if you just turn them upside down and stick them on, they will hold the pilot upside down like that. But he's actually doing a pretty good job of holding them sideways. But sometimes you can see like if you try to turn them upside down too fast, just the weight of the upper body of this figure will disengage the magnets. So they're sturdy, but if you want to actually turn one 180 degrees upside down while attached, you have to do it really slowly, or the upper body will just pull that guy right off. Let's see if we can do it again. Oh, nope, that one wasn't fast enough. But yeah, they will stick upside down to the magnets, and they'll hold there pretty well. But if you shake them too much, you get too much leverage up here, and it'll disengage the magnets. Alright, so let's go ahead and put them in. Now, if you remember my Fans Project Trianix Alpha video, this is the original version of this guy is what that toy is based on. The 3 vehicles that combine to form the bigger robot. And when I first saw the pictures, the idea sketches for Trionyx Alpha, I went looking for an old original Dia Battles, and I never picked one up. And then they announced that this one was coming, so I kind of put that off on hold. Now I kind of wish I'd gotten one to do a comparison video here. When the Trionyx Alpha is released in full and I get mine, I will do a comparison between that one and the official V2 version here. But so yeah, you've got these 3 vehicles. You've got Battles of 1, and in a lot of the pictures, it has these things rotated up, but he can't really support himself without leaning, so I flipped those down. To support him, you've got Battles 2, which is the flying wing, and then Battles 3, which is kind of a tank here. And you can combine them in, I think the instruction manual has 10 different modes for him, and I've already seen some pretty cool fan modes online as well, so there's a lot of really cool stuff. I think we'll go ahead and go to robot mode first. Well, actually, why don't we do hopper? We'll do the hopper and the crawler first, and that involves combining 01 and 03. And to do that, push this button on the side of 03, and that will release his little clips here to pull off of this part. And then let's do crawler first. So bring these up just to make sure you have room. Plug these onto here, and then rotate this up and around on the joints to make kind of a little tank thing here. And that's the crawler. It's a little tank combined of these two. And there's that. You can bring these down, I guess, if you wanted. These guns up here, you can see that these are kind of the standard, reminiscent of the old toy weapons here. And you get a second set of those. So you can have these cannons up here. And actually, any of these, you can swap them out for down here, too. But so you can swap these out to go like this. And have them have 4 matching guns like that. And these guns do lift up and down, point at different angles. This kind of looks like an old Zoid. Kind of looks like Zoid. Kind of looks like a why am I forgetting the name of them thing? There were some robots that could pop apart that had little wind-up features in them, and I was just talking about them the other day. But there's also some longer guns here that you can plug in. In all modes, you can use these. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. Personally, I like the look of these kind of squared off guns. So these are the ones that I tend to stick on. But again, you can use those in any of the modes in any of these 4 ports here on this guy. And hopper is just a quick reconfiguration of this combination here. You just come down here, pop the legs apart, fold those panels up, and then bring this down around like this, bring the legs down around, and bring his foot out a little bit right here. And then you've got a mode called hopper, which is just like that. And you rotate these so they're flat, so it's basically just a standing version of the crawler. Kind of a Gearwalk crawler. And again, these can rotate around. These rotate here. You can come out, so you can put these wherever you want. If you want to bring those up to the main body, you can do that. If you want to have them hanging down under here, you can do that as well. So yeah. Go ahead and pop these back off. And you can also take these and attach them to the back here. Now these connectors on the back of O2. And this also kind of gives them, oh, you can do a Gearwalk here on this guy, because you can bring these down. I got the arms on the wrong side, I'll have to fix that. So you can do something like that. There was a version There's this mode, which is called Glide, which is just O2 and the legs from O3 forming a little kind of hover mech there. And you can reconnect the legs here with these two attached. So flip those out, connect the legs. And there are connectors on either side, so whichever, the legs can be swapped left and right, or you can flip these up if you have more than one to add more pieces onto there. But connect those around, open these up, flip the treads back out, like that. And same over here. And actually, we do want to connect them to the other side. We want to rotate these around like this and connect them this way. And then you can lift this whole assembly back, put those straight up. Goes around like this. And bring these down at the knee. And there's a couple tabs, silver tabs under here that are going to plug in here on the legs. Like that. And you lift these up, fold these straight down, and then you can take this and clip it on to the back here. And this mode is called the Fortress. It's just a little kind of rolling tank thing like that. And now let's go to the full robot mode, and then we'll show off the 4 things that, in robot mode, the robot can transform into 4 different things. So we'll go ahead and pop this back off. Right here, you want to go ahead and pull this cockpit out and attach it, flip this little thing down and attach this to the front here. There's a little tab system here. I am getting some stress marks on these tabs, so be careful pulling it in and out. It doesn't look like it's going to break, but there are stress marks on this, and that you don't want that to happen. So yeah, bring this down like that, and then you bring these down at an angle like this, and then you've got 3 of the pilots there and a little battle sled, and that stays separate from, for most of the rest of these modes. This is a separate little vehicle that these guys can get around in. And this piece, go ahead and disconnect the legs from here, just like that. And we'll go ahead and separate those and flip those up. Fold the treads up, flip the feet out. Just like that. Now you can flip, attach, again, these are left and right. They work on either side. I like to do it so the screws are on the inside of the leg, so we'll attach them like this. So we take these pieces, let's flip the arms back around so they're on the right sides. So yeah, these stay on O2. Straighten out the wings. Then we take Hopper here, and we untab this and bring it down. These pieces rotate down and fold around to the back of the leg there, or the back of the waist, I guess. Like that. And now his core body is ready. And we take that, we attach the wing pack to his back here. Again, there's a plug in here, and then these gray clips all plug in. There we go. So snap that together. And then the rails match up on this. So you take the arms, you just slide them all the way forward up into the body here. This piece, fold these around. Slide this piece slides. So slide this all the way down and then fold that down onto the back. Rotate the wings up and out like that. And then attach the legs. There we go. Let me so he's full in frame here. These little cannons on his arms, you can deploy them as weapons in robot mode, but you rotate these around just like that. And come on. And just like that. Pull these little panels out right here. And then, and this is the coolest part of this thing, there's a button, you want his head to come up, there's a button right back here that we're going to push. And then when you push it, his head pops up and the cockpit here retracts back into his chest, which is really cool. And there is Dia Battles in robot mode. Now again, you can swap out any of these weapons into his shoulder cannons. The long ones or the little dial things. I like these square ones, so that's the ones we're going to leave on. He also comes with some swords with some holders. You can see there's just a little piece here that the sword slides out of. And these peg in right here on the inside of his little thruster pack, so he can store the swords in robot mode. And once those are plugged in, like I said, you can just slide the sword out. And then he's got swords, and like I said, you can flip the hands out to have a hand cannon. Posability in this mode is actually pretty good. Like I said, these guns go up and down. You've got some, if you want to do different things with the wings, you can bend them here, here, and here. So you don't have to have them just in a straight position. You can pose them however you want. Yeah, so you got that. His head is on a ball joint. He can't look up so much because of the stuff behind him. He can look up a little bit, but he can look down, and it moves easily. It can look all around there. Obviously, he's got the ratcheting joints here. Lifts at the shoulders, bicep swivel. Bring his elbows around. But ratcheting elbows. He's got a ball joint on his wrist. Again, the up and down movement isn't so much, but it does allow for a wrist swivel. He's got waist swivel. And he rotates both at this blue part and at this in the middle of this silver part here on his waist. Although if you have these guns attached, they can get in the way a little bit. Ratcheting hips out to the side, front to back. That connection point forms a bicep swivel. A pretty decent posability there in the knees. And then the foot has some ankle tilt, front to back, and then even this toe piece has a little bit of articulation there. So you can get him in some really dynamic, really awesome looking poses with his swords and aggressive stances. It's a nice Japanese super robot look to him. He's just a really nicely designed robot. Light piping in the eyes. I don't know how well that's coming across here, but it actually works really well. So yeah, like I said, I'm really, the thing's just a lot of fun, just transforming between all the modes. He connects and combines very easily, which is a huge bonus. And like I said, some of the fan modes have been really cool. And then, like I said, from this mode, he's got 4 modes he can turn into. So we go ahead, you have to push his head back in, you have to pull this out and hold it, and then push the head down until it clicks into place. And so the easiest one to get to is the Scramble mode, which is turn his hands in. Come on. Just like that. Lift the backpack up, rotate the wings, fold the arms back. And you can see those swords can still stay attached here in vehicle mode. I generally take them off, but you don't have to. Come back here, rotate these out. And then we're going to pull out the treads here. This way. Just like this. And then this whole assembly comes up, and there's a tab here that this tabs into. Nope, and you don't want to accidentally pop his head up. And then this, and you attach the legs together. Rotate these around. And down and out like that. And the legs attached together like they did for tank mode. Again, although that's more of a security thing, you don't have to do that. But there's scramble mode. Which is a different mode, but it's just kind of a... I need to turn to a half jet real quick to get somewhere fast. And there's that. And if you want, you can slide his arms back further if you want to have the turbine sit under the wings. But yeah, there's scramble mode. He also has manual mode. Ow. Sorry about that. And then manual mode is basically this. Bring these down. Bring his arms down. It's kind of a improved form of the glide mode. You bring these down. Rotate his legs around. Actually, you don't want to rotate his legs around. Look at this. Bring these down and underneath here. So I bring him down, and there he is. It's kind of a mech. Like that. It kind of has an ED209 look to it. I'm going to check the instructions here to make sure there's not... Nope, that's it. There you go. Boop-a-da-doo, manual mode. So he turns into a mech, and then the last one... Actually, before we get to Battles Trizer, there's one fan mode. I saw somebody do a fan mode, and this is my take on it. But if you do this, bring these up, push the arms back into here, and then you bring these up around to the side like this. You can bring the legs back, turn them into, fold the treads back up, bring these around like this, and fold these out to the side, around like this and under. Like that. Then you've got like a little fighter mode like that. That one's not in the manual. That's just a configuration I've been enjoying. I actually based it. Somebody showed a fan mode of just Battles 2 with the legs attached to form a fighter similar to this, and I did it with all three of them. So that's another. That's a fan fourth mode for the combined robot. That's not in the manual, but I kind of dig it. That's how I generally keep him when I transform him. Just. And the last mode, which combines everything, is, with the exception of the extra guns, is called Battle Trizer, which is a slightly different mode here. We're going to take the legs off of here, unpeg this segment from the back, rotate this whole thing around to the front, and peg it in, peg this cockpit into the waist piece here. Oh, come on. So plug that in there. Bring these out all the way to the side around these pieces, which stick straight out to the side. Rotate. You don't have to do this. I rotate them around so you can't see the screws or the grooves, but that's not required for this mode. Slide the arms forward again. The legs, you want to turn back into the treads. So bring this around, make sure this tread tab pegs into that foot, and then the tread itself is actually on a hinge here, so you can flatten it out to match the tread in the back. Same on this one. Flip it around, peg that onto the foot, flatten the tread. You want to connect these together, although we're going to connect them together after we attach them, because I find it's a whole lot easier to connect these after they're attached to the robot itself. But then flip these back out and attach them onto here. Nope, flipped out the wrong side. Easy enough to fix, so flip these back out. Connect the treads. And like before, they're going to peg on, pull this back so these peg on to the foot. And where's that peg hole? There we go. Peg these on underneath. And once you have this base body built, you take this thing, separate it again, flip this up, flip this up, flip this up, and now this once again attaches back here, and then you plug this into the front, and then you have Battle Trizar, which is the big, everything combined into one big ship. And that's just, like I said, with the exception of my one fan mode, that's all the official modes. People have found other configurations. You can peg things together differently, different combinations of weapons. You can see there's some peg holes here. All kinds of neat stuff going on with this guy. Very, his articulation is good. Connecting them is not a pain. You can swap between modes. When you're not shooting a video from behind the camera, you can swap between modes fairly quickly. Very neat dynamic modes, and you can find some of your own. Now the price on this guy is like, I think $169.99, so like $170 basically from most importers, and that seems a little on the steep side because he's not a very large robot. And actually I meant to do some size comparisons with him in robot mode, and we'll do that in just a second. But yeah, he's not a very big robot for the price. He comes in a very large box, but he comes with all of these individual sections in their, taken apart and laid out in a flat box. So the box kind of belies his actual size. The box seems very impressive, and I'm sure it looks impressive on a store shelf, like, hey, $170 for this big old box of stuff. And then you open it up and there's a lot of little small pieces that you put together to form roughly a Voyager-sized robot. Very well made. Like I said, I don't have any complaints about the construction of this thing. The little pilots are awesome. The features and the fun, he's super fun, but that's really what your evaluation has to come down to. Like, is it worth paying $170 for the fun? Do I think I'm going to get the fun out of this? I think he's a really fun toy. I think he'd be better priced. I think he'd be more justifiably priced for a purchase. I could recommend him if he were $100 or even $125. I'd have no problem saying, absolutely, you want to get this. Now, my own personal feeling is, absolutely, you want to get this. He's a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people are going to pass on him because of the price and miss out on that fun. But at $170, that's pushing it a little bit. I recommend him as a toy. He's a great toy. Based on the price, if you can save up and buy him, I think you're going to find he's worth it. But I'm hard pressed to say go buy this now when I feel like maybe $100 to $125 would be a more justifiable price on this guy. A lot of fun. There is an expense to it. Anyway, I'm going to take him off. We'll transform him off camera. We'll come back and we'll do some size comparisons. All right, so as promised, here he is back in his combined mode. And just to give you an idea of how big he is, here he is with G1 Hot Rod. Here he is with Masterpiece Sideswipe. And here he is with the Combiner Wars Voyager Optimus. So you can see he's roughly Voyager-ish sized in robot mode. Not quite as bulky, obviously, as Prime, although Prime was one of the bulkier Voyagers. He's very detailed for the size, very posable. Lots of neat stuff going on with him here. But like I said, it is $170. And if it goes on sale, I would absolutely recommend jumping on it. And if you've got the money, you know, if you're like, hey, I'm a Diabattles fan or I'm a Diaclone fan. If you're a Diaclone fan, I think it's worth picking up. He's a very, very fun figure. I wish the price were not high enough to prevent a lot of people from getting him and enjoying him, because I think there's a lot of fun in it. It's just, is there $170 worth of fun in it for a figure this size? And I can't make that decision for each of you individually, and so you're going to have to make that call yourself. I will say he's a lot of fun. If you've got the money and you're on the fence and be like, I don't know how fun it is, then rest assured he's a lot of fun. And like I said, a lot of options with him. If it's one of those things that like, I'm kind of interested, but I'm not. I was never into Diaclone. I'm not a big fan of the robot design. Maybe skip it. So, like I said, it's up to your individual choice. I think he's a lot of fun. I've said that several times. I'm kind of repeating myself at this point, so we'll wrap it up. But yeah, fun figure, not cheap.